Welcome to Focus on B, the video series where I spent about 20 or so minutes playing and talking about a game that I've got some thoughts on, that I've been playing, that I've been thinking about. This is Half-Life, the PS2 version. Why the PS2 version? Because look at his face. He has a face. So, this has nothing to do with the PS2 version, it's just because that's the one I'm playing. Also, if you're familiar with this version of the game, you probably know it has widescreen. Why am I not using widescreen? Because the field of view, it does not work. Like, this is actually one of the few PS2 shooters that does not have a sickening field of view in 4x3. In widescreen, however, oh my god, it's just not tuned for it. So anyway, why do I love Half-Life? What kind of statement is that? It's like, what? Why do I love Half-Life? It's almost like it was one of the best-selling video games of all time. No, that's actually not necessarily why. It's more so to the fact that I absolutely adore claustrophobic, really mundane-looking environments that have a tinge of something different about them. Because you probably think, oh, you'll love Fear. I like Fear. Fear has very, very, very mundane-looking environments. That's like its whole thing. You know, the fact that you're just going through a bunch of office complexes. In fact, I'm pretty sure we're going to be playing through Office Complex in a bit. I don't think Unforeseen Consequences is that long of a chapter. Yeah, fuck you. I did not take him out the way you're supposed to. What you're really supposed to do is shoot these barrels right here. Barrels? Propane tanks. I don't fucking know. Ask Hank Hill. Yo, what do you got? Can you heal me?
All right.
I want health, damn it. I'm playing on easy mode and the game is still not that easy because that's just how it works. So I think the main thing about this game is, well, for obviously, I really had, for a long time, I had been underestimating just truly how much of a difference this game made because, you know, we take for granted a lot of the innovations that Half-Life made as they've become ubiquitous in the way that first-person shooters are today, but after spending a very long amount of time playing a fuck ton of what you would call boomer shooters, you know, the kind of shooters with like no real story, just kind of jump in, like Quake, Heretic, Hexen. Well, Hexen kind of has a plot, but Doom, you know, all those kind of games, right?
Definitely transmitting organic matter.
What are you talking about? I know. That's one of his stock lines that he just says, but fortunately, he opened up an area with some grenades, and holy shit, those grenades look so much better than they do in the PC version. This was one of those strange cases where the console port was actually, like, in a lot of ways improved. Obviously, the PC is still the way to go. I find this a very interesting version of the game, so I wanted to showcase it instead. It's become very popular as of late, though. I'm really glad that a lot of these, like, late 90s to early 2000s to even mid-2000s console versions of games. So you probably ask yourself, why the fuck would you ever play this over the PC version? I'm glad that they've been getting some love as of late because there's a lot of really cool things that they did, right, to make them stand out as more than just the same game but on a system, right? Like, for example, all the improved models and stuff. I really like the way this gun looks, so I'm always going to have a very soft spot for the blocky models of the original. They don't look too bad, though. The gun models still look fairly good. I also have no idea where to go. Actually, I do know where to go because it's freaking Half-Life. It's a mostly linear game. Now, people say that. What they mean by linear is more so the fact that it's very scripted and guided, but not in the fact that you can't get lost, because you actually can get lost. It's definitely a possibility. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I feel like this game walks a very fine line between being quite obvious and being quite obvious in how things are supposed to be done, and also leaving some room for you to figure stuff out on your own, because that's very, very important. So anyway, what was I talking about earlier? About, yeah. So after spending a long time playing games that were before this game, or even games that came after, but just completely ignored what this game did, like Serious Sam and Painkiller and stuff like that, it just hit me how masterfully crafted this campaign is. Both this and Opposing Force, and even, fuck you, and even to an extent Blue Shift, I'd say. I think Blue Shift isn't quite as, yeah, it's not as ambitious as Opposing Force, for example, but I don't think it's bad necessarily. It's just kind of scaled back and definitely feels a little bit rushed. They probably spent most of their time making the new models, which look fine, but then came along fucking the PS2 version. This game honestly has the best looking models, because not only do they look nicer objectively in terms of poly counts, but they're also, shit, I gotta get out before I drown, but they're also much closer to the original art direction, I'd say. Like, everything looks like just how you would imagine it looked initially when you first played the game before you realized, oh wait, these models don't look so good. Although I still like the way the original models look anyway. Although one thing you have to keep in mind with this version that this specific section reminds me of, because when I was playing the game earlier on PC, I died here and I just respawned here, so that means the game kind of auto-saves? Yeah. Well, this game doesn't. You have to do every single save has to be done by hand. Shit! I just realized I have to fucking... Oh, you take so much falling damage. Where are the long fall boots when you need them? Jesus, I know this was like several years before Portal, but you know, it's kind of crazy to think that the difference in time between Portal 1 and Half-Life 1 is 9 years. And that it's almost been 20 years since Portal 1 now. And it's been over 10 years since Portal 2. And it's been almost 20 years since the last, like, actual Half-Life game. Because, okay, Alex, right, I'm sure it was a very good game. I'm just not interested in VR. Is there a flat version of the game or something? I mean, maybe it exists, or maybe you can mod it or whatever. I don't know. Look at how good these look. It actually looks like it's... I always wondered, how the hell do you get healed by the healing stations in the game? Well, they actually stick a syringe inside of you. Let's see if I can select the... Actually, no, I'm not going to waste my grenades on this. I don't think I have to. There's supposed to be head crabs over there, but I think it's because I'm on easy mode. I was playing the game on a higher difficulty on PC because, well, obviously, and you're probably also wondering, why aren't you using mouse and keyboard? Because this is like one of the five PS2 games that supports mouse and keyboard. Well, you can't, from what I can tell, you can't uninvert the mouse, which drives me up the fucking wall. And another thing, there's just this feeling of slight latency. I'm not sure what it is, because obviously I'm not, I'm playing the PS2 version on a PC. I wonder how I'm doing it with an emulator, right? Don't say the E word. But obviously that introduces a tiny bit of translation response, I guess. Like when I'm playing with just my keys right now, it's completely perfect. It runs at 60 FPS. There's no input lag from what I can tell. I mean, I'm sure someone will tell me. Actually, there's 0.50. I don't give a shit. It doesn't feel like there's input lag, so there's no input lag, okay? But with the mouse, there definitely is a tiny bit of that. It's not quite there. It's a bit like with Unreal Tournament on PS2 as well. Which is why if I were to ever play that version specifically, I would play it with just the keys. Because honestly, the game is so fucking generous with the auto-aiming. In fact, so is this game. I wonder if I can make that jump. I know you can. And no, I don't use quick saves because I don't trust myself to remember to save normally afterwards. So I just use normal saves. I know you can make that. You can make it. Fuck yeah, I made it. Nice. Even though, actually, you don't really benefit that much from making it because I'm still going to have to go over here now. Right? Yeah, I'm still going to have to go here and go down. But now that I've started making video games, actually by the time this video is uploaded, I'll have made like 100 games probably, because I make quite a few, quite frequently. Now that I have more experience with that, it's just completely mind-blowing to me how smoothly everything flows together from one area to the next, right? How seamless of a first-person shooter experience this is, not just in terms of narrative, but in terms of the actual physical layout of the levels. And I understand that these kind of things just happen with a lot of trial and error and a lot of work and a lot of scripting, as in, I'm sure that before they had even placed a single brush into the stage, or however the Quake engine, because it's Quake engine basically, however Quake handles it. I'm not sure if it's like Unreal. I've never used the Quake engine. But before they placed even a single bit of terrain down, they would write down exactly what they want. They would write down a whole script, like a screenplay for the game, essentially. We want the player to visit this kind of location, have this kind of confrontation, talk to these characters here. It's all planned. Then you build a level to match that vision, right? And I can imagine even that script went through many, many revisions and a lot of scraps, right? For example, like how Half-Life Uplink famously contains some content that was actually scrapped from this game, right? From the full version, and it was repurposed and repolished up for a little demo, which is hard as fuck, by the way. I tried playing it on difficult, and holy shit, when you get to like the section with all the containers, it's stupid hard. Like, I don't know if it was ever play tested, you know? Which I can also kind of relate to, because honestly, sometimes I don't really feel like play testing my own games. I'm just like, well, in theory, this should be good, so it should be fine. Sometimes you do really benefit from doing that, though. Like, I literally just now redesigned a small section of one of my levels for a game that I'm working on because I felt that it was just a little bit too hard. Now, granted, maybe I shouldn't be the one to judge the difficulty of my own games because I'm not very good at them. Like, I'm not great at the kind of games that I make usually. Like, the only genres that I feel like I truly am highly competent at are platformers. And even then, I'm not even sure which kinds exactly. I mean, her Sonic games, of course. And I'm pretty good at the modern Rayman games as well. Can we call them modern? I mean, Rayman Legends is over 10 years old now, but... Well, the latest release of Rayman Legends is less than 10 years old, however. That being the 2017 Switch version. So, technically speaking, right, it's not that old yet. Do we count that? Do we take into account the last possible release of a game or the initial release, right? Because that would kind of mean that that was the last time it was acknowledged by the studio. So that makes it more canon. I'm not sure. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyway, this is one of my favorite chapters in the game just because of how fucking... I wanted to say clumsy for some reason. No, I wanted to combine claustrophobic and cozy, but I didn't want to say cozy because that's a really cringy word that I hate, that I've seen pop up as of late as like a marketing term for certain games. I'm just like, oh, a cozy game? What's that supposed to mean? But honestly, no, I really do love how weirdly welcoming this environment is. It shouldn't be, because there's all this fucking electricity and all these monsters and all this stuff happening, but they're not monsters, they're aliens from Zen. I always thought that Race X just came from Zen as well, but funnily enough, I really do enjoy it. I think it just it comes from my inherent liking for claustrophobic environments, like small levels like this. I find them really endearing and fun to traverse. I like big sprawling environments too. They can be quite mesmerizing, of course. One of my favorite Sonic fan games is Sonic Project Endless, which that should be the name for its development cycle because it never got finished. It's like 2 levels, only the first one of which being any good. Like the second level is this weird like tube thing with what was it called? Yeah, aquatic park playing in the background. I don't know what the fuck was up with that, but the first level, oh, that is gorgeous. It's this huge open Frontiers-esque thing going on with this piano, this really relaxed rearrangement of what was that level? Salvania Castle from Sonic 4 Act 2. Absolutely gorgeous, complete eye and ear candy, really. And the gameplay is pretty fun too. You know, not to mention I obviously have bucket loads of nostalgia for Sonic Green Hill Act 1 and 2, right? A Green Hill Paradise, I think it was called. So obviously I'm not completely against big open areas, but I really like small confined areas like this as well. Let's use a grenade. Actually, we don't really have to use a grenade on him. Let's just use the pistol. Come on. Wait until he's done bashing through the door. But still, it's just when I got some context for when this game came out, like I recommend you do this too. If you're one of the few people who doesn't really appreciate Half-Life that much, and I kind of get it because it does have some jank, and it's a bit dated in some ways, play a couple hours of like Doom. Even though Doom is amazing, Doom is one of the best games ever made. Like it's like a bell curve as you age, when you realize that like at first it's like, oh, Doom's so cool, you get to shoot stuff, but then it's like Doom hasn't aged so well. But then you get a little bit older and you're like, Doom is the best game ever made. It's one of the tightest, most refined experiences ever, and I do think it's better than Half-Life. But just to put things into context, play a bunch of that and play some other shooters with like basically no story, and then play Half-Life, and you'll realize like, and it wasn't the first to do this. There was System Shock, even Unreal came out before Half-Life, right? And games have been dabbling in this sort of, like shooters at least, they had been dabbling in these kind of ideas previously, but this game just did it so damn well, so seamlessly, and in a very engaging package, right? Because it's not so much about who did it first, or about even who did it most ambitiously, but who did it best all around. And this is a very great all-around package. See, look, that looks a lot more like an HD version of the original Barney than the weird babyface Barney in Blue Shift. I'm not a fan of that, right? Even though I still love the absolutely fucking demented look that Barney initially had. Like, I don't know why. Like, he's supposed to be like this relatively young guy, but he looks like a fucking 70-year-old man.
Sooner or later.
See, he looks a lot more like normal here. But still, because like they expect you to believe that he's still alive and not that old in Half-Life 2. So it's like it's implying that he was pretty young here, but in the original, he looks like a zombie, you know. But anyway, it's also really cool how, even though the game is like linear, as I said, the way that you can progress through the stages is a little bit open-ended. Like, notice how I could have gone here sooner, but instead I chose to go over to Barney first, right? Okay, I'm just gonna fucking... Actually, you know, could I? Yeah, you can parkour your way through and not take any damage here. I'm not sure. Was the water initially flowing in the PC version, or was this added in the PS2 version? I really don't remember exactly. Also, yes, thank you, Big Mac Davis. Very cool for letting me know that you don't have to necessarily kill them at first. You can actually wait a bit, right, and kill them as, like, because basically what everyone else does is they just walk into that fucking vent and just get mauled by the head crabs without being able to avoid them. What you want to do is wait for them to show up. And then, okay, I think now it's safe for me to go in, right? I'm not actually sure. I'm just playing to... When's the last time I saved? Oh no, fuck. Okay, well, we're going to that area first. See, because it's semi-open-ended, I can just... Wait a second. Shit. I have to turn the power off again, don't I? Oh no. Damn it, the PC version got it right. Why can't... I mean, maybe it was a technical restraint. I'm not sure. Well, let's be fair. I actually don't know whether or not the original 1998 PC release had that auto-saving thing going on. Because, obviously, the version you'll play today has been severely updated. That's not a bad thing. It's just, it's not the exact same game anymore, right? You would have to go on fucking archive.org and then set up a virtual machine or something, and then that's how you would end up playing the very, very original release, right? So we haven't really... I mean, we kind of lost a bit of progress, but again, because of the way the game's structured, at least in this case, I haven't lost that. Let's save again. Jesus Christ. I mean, we're almost done with the episode anyway, but might as well, right? I don't want to lose too much progress. And no... As I said, I'm not using mouse and keyboard, even though the game... Actually, the game doesn't even take that into account. It doesn't show the keyboard, like, buttons even when you use it. I made a custom texture pack for PCSX2. I had this one phase where I was, like, obsessed with just customizing all the textures. Well, two phases. One where I got my... when I first got my new PC, which was much better at doing things, obviously. And so I did use that to... Stay crouched. There you go. To just make a whole bunch of random stupid-ass texture packs for games where I'd put, like, anime characters on my cars in Need for Speed and stuff. Like in Need for Speed Underground on GameCube. But then I started to use it for more practical reasons. So now it's like whenever I'm playing a game like this, right, where I've mapped all these buttons on my keyboard to buttons on the controller, and it would feel really awkward to navigate menus and such, but the game shows you button prompts, I changed the textures, basically. Just went in. It's like, oh, now I know what I want to press. I've done it for Unreal Tournament. I think I did it for Rune, which I'm planning on doing a Focus on Beyond soon, actually. Did I do it for... I don't remember if I did it for Killzone, however. Killzone. No, I did it for Killzone, though I don't play Killzone very much anymore. I was just curious as to what the game was like. And I don't know if I did it for Area 51. I've done a whole ass Let's Play of that game, and I don't remember if I did that. Maybe I did? I probably did, considering that, you know, I've remapped all the controls and it would have helped out immensely. I mean, I can find out if I just open up my frickin' folder, but I'll find out later. Regardless of that, though, we're almost done with the episode. I'm basically just going to wrap this up. So, I think I've come around on Half-Life quite severely, right? Because it does feel like one of those games that sometimes falls victim to its age. A bit like GoldenEye. But unlike GoldenEye, because I don't feel like I'm ever going to really love GoldenEye, I wasn't there, and I can't say I'm too into the concept of the game and the way it plays. But here, absolutely. Like, I get it. I didn't get it for a bit. Now I do. Like, holy shit. The way that everything is pieced together, the way everything connects, and it's so tight and enjoyable. And yes, there are some trouble spots, on a rail. And even surface tension is a very, very, very challenging level. I mean, to the point where I'm not even sure if it really should have been that challenging. But still, I haven't actually played Black Mesa, though. I probably should do that, because if I love this so much, but maybe it might change the way I see things. I don't fucking know. But regardless, Half-Life is, hot take, Half-Life is kind of good, I think. 7 out of 10. Just kidding. But anyway, Barney, can you close us out? Say something.
Yeah, we might stand a better chance if we team up. Okay, I'll secure this area.
Okay, you're not going to say anything useful that I can use to end the video. So whatever, this has been Focus on Beat, the video series where I spend 20 or so minutes playing and talking about a game that I've got some thoughts on. This is Half-Life. I really enjoyed this game. PlayStation 2 and PC, 1998.